before anything, before we had a record deal, before we were in any store, before we ever, you know, we really went out and toured and did anything. This is like one of our very, very, very first tours. My homie Cool Nuts, one of the very first dudes I met in this game, real good brother, man, introduced me to a lot of people in the game, put us on an E-40 show. And to me, being a fat black kid from California, I got to do my music before E-40.
E-40, yeah.
That was like, I won the lotto. I was like, we get to get on stage on the same stage as E-40?
No way.
Like, I couldn't believe it. It was such the biggest moment. Like, at that time, I was like, wow, it was so...
We called it a tour, but it was really like 3 shows.
Yeah, it was like 3 shows. We called it a tour, but we did like 3 shows.
Going on tour with E-40, yeah.
That's before we were doing like 88 cities and stuff. This is 3. So we went, and the promoter who brought everybody out there, he had some deal with the hotel and rented the whole top of a hotel floor. So what happened was, it happened to be that time once a year where the person of the whole entire state that runs that hotel chain comes, the regional manager of that whole entire state. It's funny because it was in the state of Washington, and now Washington is legal it's recreational legal. But this is before it was recreational legal. The regional manager is at the hotel. They rent out the whole floor. The shows, you know, go crazy. All the artists on the floor, whatever. We kind of turned the whole top floor into like a typical crazy party. You know what I'm saying? There's women running around, people smoking weed, and music and video games. It hooked up to the TVs. Just everything kind of going on, hella wild, and all the crazy things happening. But E-40, you know, he's older in the game. He's been seen all that. So he's just chilling in his room. You know, he's not worried about all that. He's just locked in his room, just handling his own business, probably counting money or talking to his managers or doing something that whenever you're a worldwide rap superstar, you do at that time. I don't know, whatever he was doing in his room. We're in our room. We hotbox the shit out of our room. The regional manager tries to just do their normal midnight checks, goes up to the top floor and tries to come on the floor. And one of the random security guards that were there at the club was like, "Who are you? We got this whole top floor. You got to get out of here," and kicks the regional manager out of her own hotel. She gets scared. She goes down and she calls the police department and says, "Some gang members are smoking marijuana and have taken over my hotel, the whole top floor." After we get through smoking, we smoked so much in our room, like our room was right next to E-40's room, and our room was like the source of the smoke.
Like across the hall.
So we were playing video games at the same time, so we went across the way, just like across the hall to the other side, and we started playing video games in there with my dude Cool Nuts and stuff, battling. It wasn't 40-1, just whatever dumb stats you came up with, but anyway, we was whooping on him.
We were whooping him. Let the record reflect.
Let the record
he was
reflect.
getting whooped on.
So then I just happen to look out the window. I look out the window and I see literally every cop car in the town, the SWAT team. Like, it was like they called every cop in the whole entire town. I was like, oh shit, somebody's about to get raided. You know, like, I think I'm gonna look out the window and they finna raid something out there. You know, like, I'm just gonna watch it from the window. Then I see them all start coming to the hotel and I was like, oh shit, we might have a problem. Then they come up with they come up with the regional manager. They come up in to the top floor. At this time, it had calmed down a lot. Mostly everybody's in their room. And they were like, the source of this smoke is right here. We could tell because it was just, they were like, the smell is just so bad, but it was a hotel. So the 2 doors were right next to each other. So one was E-40, who wasn't even participating in no party and no nothing. He's just in his room. And one was our room, but we weren't in that room anymore. We were across the hall looking at them through the peephole and hearing them all talk out loud of determining where the source of this weed was coming from. They start banging on the door. No one answers our door. So they go, well, maybe it's coming from this room. So they bang, and that's E-40 in there. E-40 comes to the door. He's just chilling in there in his boxers. He has no idea none of this is going on. He pull him out the room.
In his boxers.
In his boxers.
It's not funny, actually.
It's not funny. Sorry, bro. 40's like my idol.
Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicest dude ever.
For real. The coolest, most humblest rap superstar I ever met in my life. But they pull him out. They go in his room, search his room. They start interrogating him like he's a criminal. He's like, man, I don't even smoke weed. Man, I was in here. And he was like talking to him. But you know, E-40, you know how he talks, you know what I'm saying? So he's using all this lingo. Trying to talk to the police.
So we're watching through the peephole.
And we're watching all this go down through the peephole. It's me and him, so we're fighting over the peephole. Get out, get out, I want to look, and we're pushing each other out the way, listening to this thing. So then they obviously realize he wasn't the one smoking. They go in there, they don't find no blunts or nothing like that. So they go, has to be coming from this room. The manager uses the key, they go into that room. But we had left the window open, so they go in there and they were like, oh, they must have heard us out here and jumped out the window. They thought we jumped out the window from the top floor of the hotel, but we were watching them from the other thing. So they go, okay, we're gonna catch them. Because obviously they went in our room and knew that's where the real smoke came from, because we had weed everywhere and blunts broken down, and we just had all the evidence in our room.
Fucked up.
So they collected all this stuff. They took our bags and they took them to the front desk and they said, okay, look, when they come back and they change the key code, I can hear them plotting on how they're going to set us up to arrest us the next day. We're going to turn their key off and they're going to come back and try to get their bags, and they're going to come down to the front desk and say, hey, I'm in room whatever and my key's not working no more. And then you're going to say, all right, cool, we'll give you a key. And you're going to give them a key, and then you're going to call us, and then we're going to come back and we're going to arrest them. So we're like, all right, cool. So now we know, don't go ask for a new key. Let's figure out a new way to get the bags. The next morning, we go down there and say, hey, we basically come up with some bullshit story to get the bags back. When the whole thing went down, the promoter of the whole show was actually the one talking, because he was the one who rented all the rooms and the credit cards were in their name and all that. I just pretended like I was the manager of those artists. And I went back there and said, look, I don't know where they went. They've ran off. I don't know what happened to them, but I'm their manager. Is there a way I can retrieve their bags, and I'll give you my credit card to put that room under, so any damage you can just bill to me. So then we basically bought our bags back, because then they just charged us a $250 smoking fee. They took out the promoter's room, put it on our credit card. I got the bags back as like their manager. The hotel, they got an extra $250, and it was the next day, and it was the next person, and they realized that nothing was happening, so we got the bags back. It wasn't that hard. It was just a little bit of talking. But the whole time we're thinking, yo, E-40 got pulled out that room in his boxers. Like, he's not gonna be too happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're thinking, we've never toured before. So we're thinking, he thinks we're the worst people ever. And mind you, I idolize E-40. Like, to this day, I mean, I have E-40's number in my cell phone. I could text him and call him. He's the man. But at that time, he was like E-40. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, okay, it's over. Like, my life is done. This dude I've idolized my whole life is gonna like yell at me or have his security jump me, or like somehow I was gonna be really, and then in typical E-40 fashion, man, he just cool as a fan. He came down there and just said, hey man, that was some powerful turtle y'all was smoking in that room, man. Them cops was tripping. And he didn't even care at all. He didn't even care that they fucked with him. He didn't even care nothing. He was like, oh no, don't worry about that. We'll go rock the next show. Yeah, and then we went and ate breakfast that day. And then the line he got in his lyrics when he was writing that album, ass so big you could break a blunt down. And that's where he came up with that lyric right there in that restaurant, talking about smoking weed in that room. But that's where that lyric came from. Everyone was joking about it at that table, and that's where that lyric came from in one of his songs. How this all ties in is, this is in Washington. So now Washington is recreationally legal, which is crazy to even think of, that just like 8 years ago or whatever this story was, 7, 8, 9 years ago, whenever this was, that they would literally call the SWAT team for people smoking weed and create this big thing. And now it's just legal to smoke weed there. And it reminds me the Flo Bama project. Me and Underrated, produced the whole record. And Black Pegasus has Flo Bama. He was actually given that name by R.A. the Rugged Man on one of the tours that we did with him. Phenomenal MC R.A. is, and phenomenal with the crowd live show. If you ain't never seen R.A. the Rugged Man show, you definitely got to see when he kills it live. So he gave him the name Flo Bama because he sounded so proper when he talked.
And he looks like
Obama. He looks like Obama's illegitimate son or something, whatever. If Obama got a side piece like Bill Clinton be having or whatever. Phenomenal MC, and we did this song. It's called Free the Weed, and it was the first single off of there. And we actually got him out on this tour with us now. We bring him out, and he comes and does the thing and says Free the Weed. And it's crazy when you think of a story like that. And now we can bring like the president out and say Free the Weed, and like you can see the transfer that's kind of happened in the world. So, and yeah, it's crazy. So, Obama. Yeah.
My fellow Americans, we've come here to free the weed. There they go on the block again. All they want to do is breathe oxygen. For a little green, they'll box you in. Don't let them throw away the key and lock you in. No. How you gonna say that wasn't allowed? Now all of Colorado got them puffing that loud. Got me speaking, touching the crowd. Got them vegan, something and proud. Well, let them do what works the best. Rather see them grow than work the meth. Rather see them smoke, no Percocets. Gotta get the seeds, no birth defects. So wake them up, shake them up. Everybody in the game just to make a buck. The weight is up, they break them up, lace them up, and they keep it on the low till the cake is up. Lock you up, they know they can't. It's not a crime when you smoke a plant. Gotta tell them this till I blow the amps. And I represent the people and they know the champ, Flo Bama. I'm a different type. I grip the mic with strength of a pit that bites. I fit the hype, no kryptonite. Live your life, third eyesight bright. It's your gift, your right to get high.
Free the weed.
Blow bomb.
Blow bomber.
Real change in America.
If my brother stabbed me in my head, what the fuck is going on to make your blood stab you in the back of your head?
Opening acts said, "Hey man," he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, "Hey, I need you to take this really calmly." So he goes, "Maurice is gone," and I was like, "What?"
Back when tax bracket shit was way past any practical math I did. Now I'm halfway past half to a capitalist. 3/4 there, yeah, to the rap top of the list. Now I'm really getting my dividends and sapping a bit.
If you're on a nice ass, push ass bus and while you're chilling, you're just killing cockroaches. You know, and you know roaches come out at night. So when you turn the lights off, the roaches is crawling on your body.